Hi guys. So we're here today to talk about your post-it note portraits. So it has just been New Year's, so um, there are going to be sort of some New Year's themes to these prompts. The idea is that you guys are going to make 5 post-it note self-portraits that are, non-traditional, kind of out-of-the-box portraits that show us about you, and explain some of the things that maybe you're interested in your life. And we're using New Year's and recent events as sort of a way to get some ideas about how to do this. So, here are some different prompts and options that you can use when you're making your self portraits. So, the first one is a self portrait as a New Year's resolution. So, maybe you are going to be giving some things up for the new year. Maybe you're going to be committing to some new things. What are those things that you are going to be committing to or giving up in this new year? Show us those New Year's resolutions as a way to help us understand who you are. All right. Second option is this self-portrait as 2020 or 2021. So a lot of things happened this last year. I'm sure, you were affected by some more than others. This year is obviously just starting. We might have some ideas or some hopes for what might come up this year, or we might have some fears about what might come up this year. So here is your opportunity to show yourself as your thoughts about 2020 or 2021. All right, so another prompt here, another idea. Your self-portrait as your favorite holiday food. So maybe you're big into turkey or sweet potato pie. I don't know what your favorite holiday food. I will say it could be also your favorite holiday drink here. So maybe you love eggnog, or maybe you love hot chocolate like me. Hot chocolate. I am definitely a believer in hot chocolate with whipped cream and sprinkles. So that's probably my favorite holiday food. So you're letting us know a little bit more about yourself by showing us your self-portrait as your favorite holiday food. So right now, this year we are, in sort of midwinter. We're headed towards spring, but we're not quite there yet. But, I can't help but think of spring this time of year, even though it's cold outside. So you can show us a little bit about yourself by making a self-portrait of yourself as winter or spring. Maybe you could think of some of your favorite activities for these times of the year. If I was going to do my self-portrait as fall, for instance, that's not one of the options here, but if I was going to do that, I might use things like jack-o'-lanterns or things that are Halloween related. Other things I look forward to in the fall, things like pumpkin spice lattes or beautiful crunchy orange leaves. So those might all be a part of my portrait. But you guys are going to be doing winter or spring, whichever one you'd like to do. You could do both if you like. There's a good idea for you as you're making your self-portraits. Next we have your self-portrait as a favorite holiday activity. Maybe you got into watching a bunch of Netflix this holiday. Maybe you decorated cookies. Maybe you had a bonfire. Whatever your favorite holiday activity is here, something that you enjoy doing, you are going to create a self-portrait as that activity. The last thing on the list here is artist choice. So maybe you've got an idea that doesn't fit in with some of the ideas that we have talked about already. Maybe, you've got a really strong idea of how you'd like to show yourself, and it's just different from what's on the list. So If there's something that doesn't fit in with the ideas and prompts we have here, you know, these are your self-portraits. I encourage you to be creative and show us something about yourself. All right. So, what you guys are going to be doing, you are going to be making 5 Post-it self-portraits. That is the assignment. You are going to activate the whole space of the Post-its. So that means, you know, you don't have a teeny tiny drawing smack in the middle of a Post-it. You've made all of that space interesting. You've used the foreground, the middle ground, the background. You've, you know, thought about making objects large in the picture so that you don't have a lot of just dead negative space. You've activated the whole space of the Post-its in each drawing, each of your 5. Again, you know, just to, you know, come back to the first point, the 5 Post-it drawings should be self-portraits based on the prompts that we just talked about. Okay. Last thing on the list is add color with the tools you have available. Your drawings must have color, must have some color. So, you know, maybe you've got some crayons at home, or some markers, or some colored pencils, or some watercolor. By all means, please use those. If you don't have those, maybe try out some unconventional things to add color. You could maybe use a makeup palette, or you could use, you know, fruit juice, or maybe like a mustard or something from the refrigerator. Maybe you could try to mix a little bit of, a tiny bit of food coloring with water and use that. For this week, I know that, you know, you might not all have wonderful art tools available. Please use what you have available to you. You know, that includes the drawing materials. I mean, it includes the materials that you will draw on. I'm recommending Post-its, and if you have Post-its, fine, use them. But if you don't, please feel free to use any sort of paper you have. I would make it small, the size of a Post-it. 3.5 by 3.5, I think, somewhere around there is Post-it size. It's pretty small. So make it small, make it Post-it sized. Use a Post-it if you've got it, but if you don't, use whatever kind of paper or index card you have. Just cut it small so that you don't have to make anything very big this time. These are intended to be very, you know, small drawings, just a couple inches. Be good to make it square, because Post-its are square, and make it feel a little bit more like a Post-it. Okay, so I'm going to show you my examples for this project so you can see what I made. This first one is my self-portrait as Winter. So what you're seeing here is I've actually cut a couple pieces of just white paper that I had. I left my Post-its at home. I'm sorry, I left my Post-its at work. I do have at home, I had some tiny Post-its I could use. Maybe some of these or some of these. Even if you've got colorful Post-its, it'd be fine to make a drawing on those. I felt like I wanted a larger Post-it, and I knew that I wanted to add a lot of color, so I just made mine. I cut my squares out of just regular paper. I tried to make them Post-it sized so that I didn't have to make a large drawing. You can see here's my hand. It's just a very small drawing, Post-it sized. So in this drawing, I've shown I wear this winter hat that looks like a moose. And this year it's been pretty funny because I wear my winter hat that covers my ears. It looks like a moose. I've also been wearing a mask because of COVID, and I wear eyeglasses normally, so you see like this little tiny strip of my face right now. If I'm outside in my full winter getup, it's a little funny. I included a background with some snowflakes to kind of try to set the scene. I did this with colored pencil and a black pen after sketching it in just plain pencil. So that's my self-portrait as Winter. I wanted to show some of the clothes that I wear during winter, some of the things that winter makes me think of. You know, even the color scheme felt very wintry to me. So next I have my self-portrait as spring. And so, you know, a self-portrait doesn't necessarily have to show any of your body. In this case, it just shows a hand. But, you know, I could do this without showing any of my body at all, show my self-portrait as spring. So I've shown some things that I like about spring. I love new growth and flowers, listening to birds sing. I love the color yellow. I think it feels like sunshine and just all bright, vibrant, growing energy of life. So I've included those colors because they make me think of spring. So that's my portrait as spring. The last one is my personal favorite. So this is my self-portrait as my favorite holiday food or drink. In this case, here you go. Here's me as a cup of hot chocolate with whipped cream and sprinkles, and it's got some little tiny cookies here. So again, you know, I activated this whole space. I created, you know, a foreground, a background, and a middle ground of the table here. There's nothing, you know, the object is large in the picture plane. There's not a bunch of dead space hanging out. And I did think about, you know, adding some color to this background and things like that as well. So really, no dead space, no tiny objects with nothing in the background. Guys, let's utilize the whole space, activate the whole space of these drawings. So I did kind of think that I could make the mug into something like a face in this one, so that's what I did. It's a very kind of silly, surreal self-portrait. I try to incorporate Christmassy colors because it is sort of a seasonal picture. And of course the hot chocolate, which I like very much during the winter times, also is incorporated. So those are 3 of my 5. You guys, of course, are going to make 5. And then we will be sharing these in class this week. So work on finishing these up, adding some color to them, and all of that good stuff. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Thank you.